Ladies, I wanted to start this video by reminding you of something very, very important, and that is you are the prize. Ladies, please never, ever forget your value, forget your worth, forget all the great things you bring to the table to a wonderful relationship. You are the prize. Now, a good man is the prize too, if you find a good one. But in this case, I'm talking to you, ladies. I want you to walk around and remind yourself and continue to recognize your value, recognize your worth, that you are a prize. Just like my wife, she is my prized possession. Yes, I use the word possession because I love my wife. She is number one in my life. So what I want to do today is come on here to help you ladies find a man that treats you like a prize. Because what's happening now, if you're still single, if you're still struggling with on and off again relationships, yeah, you meet men that look at you like a prize or treat you like the prize. The problem is the men that look at you like a prize are the men that you don't want. So I'm here to change that. Now, in order to do that, we have to look at a few things you could or could not be doing. So I wanted to come on here today and tell you ladies about the 6 things I'm noticing that women are doing consciously and subconsciously that is keeping your ass single. I'm just, excuse my French, excuse my language, but I'm just keeping it real. There are some things that you're doing to yourself that you may not even be aware of that is keeping you single. So that's what I'm going to do today. Let's go over those top 6 things. I will be honest, some of the things I'm going to mention may be a little triggering. It may touch a nerve a little bit, but ladies, remember, I am not trying to attack you. I'm not trying to judge you. I am doing this out of love and compassion to get you to the love that you want. And please stick around for the last point because in my opinion, that is the most important. All right. If this is your first time joining me, my name is Charles F. McMillan Jr. I am a relationship improvement coach here to help women get the love that they want and that they deserve. All right, let's get started, guys. All right, the number one thing I've seen that women are doing that are keeping them single is you haven't made time or made room for love. All right. There are a lot of you that I found that truly want love, that truly want companionship. They want somebody to share their life with. But ladies, you don't have the time. You are either working a very demanding job. You are in a career where you're trying to climb the corporate ladder. You could be a single mom trying to raise 2, 3, 4 kids. You know, you could be trying to start your own business. It could be a number of things going on. And there's just no time. You don't have the room to bring someone else into your life. Or in some cases, you don't have the emotional bandwidth. And what do I mean by that? You know, there's some of you right now that are just going through a lot in life. You may be having an illness. You may be taking care of an ailing parent. You may be dealing with a troubled teen. There could be a lot of things going on in your life that you just don't have the bandwidth. You know, I have one client that's going through a new custody battle. Was it custody? I think it's not custody, but what is it? Child support. Yes, he's going through a child support battle with her ex-husband, and it is so draining on her, and she just doesn't have the emotional bandwidth. So, ladies, you really have to look and ask yourself, number one, do I have the time? Do I have the room to invest in another relationship, in a relationship period? So if you're someone that's working a lot of hours, you're following your passion, again, no judgment, because men do the same thing. When men are trying to climb that corporate ladder or trying to, start a new business or start a new career, they just don't have the time to truly invest in love. And so they wait till they have the time. And if that's you, if you're following your passion, if you're following your dream and you don't have the time, then that could be a reason, legitimate now, but it could be a reason you are single. Now, here's a caveat to that. You have to ask yourself, is the reason you don't have time or don't have the room is because you're using those things as a distraction from finding love? Some of you have been hurt, some of you have been disappointed, and so you are diving into your work, you're diving into your children, you're diving into all these other activities as a distraction. But again, That's something you have to think about. Am I doing things that is a distraction, or is it I just legitimately have too much going on in my life? That's why I don't have love right now. So that's the number one thing that could be keeping you single, okay? Number two, you're not even trying or you've given up. So, ladies, and you know what I'm talking about, where you've had so many disappointments, so many headaches, you thought this was it and it didn't work out. And you're just at a point where you're just exhausted. You're tired. You don't want to do this anymore. And so I've seen women that they just don't try. They don't go out anymore. When they do go out or go to the mall or to the grocery store, it's as if they just got out of bed. They're not putting any effort into their appearance because in their thoughts, it's like, what's the point? Nothing's happened. I've tried looking my best. I've tried doing all these things, and I still don't have the man I want. So they tend to just wash their hands. They give up. They stop trying. It's kind of like, a lot of us have always tried to lose weight, get our bodies together. And what happens? You try this diet, you try this workout routine, and if it doesn't work, what do you end up doing? You give up. You say, forget it. What's the point? I'm just going to eat this food anyway. I'm not going to go to the gym. It's not working. And I've seen some women that because they've had so much disappointment, they've adopted that mentality. They just stopped trying. They've given up. So ladies, that could be something you're doing. And if that's you, let's stop it. Let's turn it around. It's not too late. But that is something that if you are doing that could be something that's keeping you single. You're not trying. You just give it up. All right. Number 3. All right. Now here's one that's going to be triggering. But remember what I said earlier. Keep an open mind. Keep an open spirit. And as my uncle used to say, keep a cool booty. I'm not trying to trigger you here, but this is something to help you. All right. All right. The third thing that could be keeping you single is you're too picky and you have unrealistic expectations. Ladies, if that triggers you, that means someone has told you this before. Now, what do I mean by too picky or have unrealistic expectations? So let's say this. You want a guy that has to have a certain look. He has to have a certain complexion. He has to be a certain height, a certain build, a certain income. I like to call those the 3 6s. He has to have a 6-pack. He has to be over 6 foot tall and has to make over 6 figures. It happens. And you got to ask yourself, am I asking for something that complements what I already have, or is it there to compensate what is lacking in my life? I'm going to give you an example. For me, I'll fall on the sword. When I had my issues of insecurity, I was looking for a woman to compensate the things that I felt were lacking. I had to deal with my insecurities from a child. And so because I had insecurities as a child, I was looking for a woman to have a certain look, a certain build to compensate how I felt about myself. Now, once I became healthy and whole, now I was looking for a woman to complement the things I wanted. For example, my wife is someone that is compassionate. That was very important to me because I'm compassionate. I wanted someone that I thought would be a great mother because I felt I was going to be a great father. I wanted someone that was going to be loving and kind because I feel like I'm loving and kind. Again, complement what I already have. Now, I've known some women that say, hey, if he's not making over $100,000 a year, they're like, Charles, I can't do it. And I always ask themselves, is that to compliment or to compensate? And in that case, with this client I'm talking about, it was to compensate because she wasn't making that much money. Or are some people that say, I need him to live in a certain neighborhood. I need him to have a big house. I need him to have this. I need him to have that. Again, it's nothing wrong with having things or having standards. But the way to know if your standards or the things you're looking for are healthy or unhealthy is just ask. Is it there to complement the things that I already have? Or is it there to compensate for the things that are lacking? So again, number 3 thing that could be keeping you single is you're being too picky or you have unrealistic expectations. All right. Number 4, here's a big one. Your interview process is flawed. All right. What do I mean by that? Ladies, there are some men that have been in your life that have no damn purpose for being in your life. There's some men, I'm sure as you look back on it, you're like, why did I give this guy a chance? And you're probably right. Why did you give this man a chance? There's some people that have no business being in your life. So we have to look at your interview process. Give you an example of, let's say you are a hiring manager or you run a department at your job. And let's say you're a manager and you have 5 other managers that work with you, all right? And all of you have to hire staff. Now, let's say out of all the 5 managers, you have the worst retention rate in the company. Out of the last 8 people you hired, 6 of them don't work out. So something's going wrong. Now, it would be easy to say that, you know what, they're just no good employees out here. The employees don't know a good job when they see one. But that's not what we think in business. What we're going to do is, if you're someone out of the 5 people that your interview process or your retention rate is so awful, guess what your boss is going to do? Your boss is going to say, hey, we need to look at your process. We need to first look at the job requisition that you're putting out there. We need to see if you're even listing the right qualities to garner the right employees. So that your boss is going to look at that first. Then your boss is going to say, let's look at the resumes that are coming across your desk. And if you're bringing in resumes that don't have degrees, that don't have the background, your boss is going to say, why are you even looking at this resume? Then your boss is going to look at your interview process. If someone's showing up late, if someone's phone is going off, if someone's resume is not even fully printed out, but yet you're going to give them a second interview, your boss is going to look at you and say, hey, it's not the candidates, it's you. You're bringing in unqualified people. And what's happening in your dating life, you're doing the same thing. So again, I'm not saying that you're not going to get folios that's going to come into your life. That you can't control who approaches you, but you can control who you give your time to. So what we have to do is look at your interview process. Is it flawed? Are you letting men that are unqualified to truly love you in your life? And if you are, then we got to take a look at that. So that's number 4. You have to look at your interview process. Is it flawed? All right, before I go on, guys, please make sure you like, subscribe, share this video. As many women as I can help as possible. It will do so much good. All right, let's go to number 5. Oh, here's one. You haven't done a relationship audit. All right, what do I mean by that? So in every scope of life, we have auditors. We have people that are looking at what we're doing, checking what we're doing, making sure we're honest. The IRS can audit you if your taxes look funny. I explained to my daughter the other day that sometimes her teachers will audit her work, meaning if you're struggling in grades or struggling in the class, they're going to look at your work. They're going to look at your tests. They're going to look at your homework assignments. They're going to talk to mom and dad and see, hey, what are we doing when we're at home? So same goes to you. When is the last time you've done a relationship audit? When is the last time you have sat back and said, okay, what is going on in my dating life? Now, I'm sure if I were to ask you, hey, tell me everything the last 3 men you dated did wrong, I'm sure you will rattle those things off. He did this, he did that, he did this, he did that. You have no problem. But when is the last time you really did a deep dive inventory about, guess what you're doing wrong? So how does a relationship audit work? What you do, and this takes humility and it takes a lot of strength. But I'm going to tell you, ladies, when I've had clients do this, it made some tremendous breakthroughs. So how do you work a relationship audit? You go to your friends and you go to your family and you ask them, hey, what are some of the things you've seen that I am doing wrong in relationships? Now, you must let your friends know that I am coming to you with an open mind. Please be transparent. I am not here to bite your head off or judge you. All I ask is that you give me your constructive feedback with compassion. And guys, just be open to the feedback. They may tell you some things you've heard before, or they may tell you some things you had no idea you were doing. Here's another thing. Also ask your coworkers. And I know some of you are thinking, why would I ask my coworkers about how I am in a relationship? What I've noticed, and I bet you've noticed this too, As you've gotten to know coworkers, and if you get to know them outside of work, you start noticing there's a correlation by how people are at work versus their personal life. Guess what? If someone's very emotional and gets upset over the smaller things at work, chances are they do the same thing in their personal life. If someone has a very nonchalant attitude and doesn't take things seriously at work, chances are they do the same thing in their personal life. So I would do the same thing. Go to your coworkers, go to somebody, again, someone you trust, someone you really care for, someone that you believe will give you an honest opinion, and just ask them, hey, I'm trying to improve myself. What are some of the things you see that I could do better? And guys, when you do this and you're open to the feedback, I'm telling you, let me tell you, I did the same thing. I went to one of my sisters and I asked them, hey, what am I doing wrong? And she told me straight up, you're too picky. You're just too picky. And that pickiness, as I alluded to earlier, led from insecurities from my past. But thank God she gave me that constructive feedback, because then I could start doing the work. And guys, when I took those walls down, my wife was presented to me and we made it happen. I'm telling you. Now, to really supercharge this exercise, what some of my clients who are truly serious do, they go to some of the men they dated. I know some of you guys are like, hell to the no, but I'm telling you, I did the same thing. I went to some of the people I dated in the past and just asked them, hey, what are some of the things I'm doing? And they told me, you're being too picky. And one woman told me, I feel like I have a job to do. And she was right, because I was picky and I didn't have a full, complete life. I was looking for the woman I dated at the time to be my world. And that's not their job. So again, do a relationship audit. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to some coworkers that you trust. And if you're really trying to make some change, go to some of the men that you've dated in the past. And you'll be surprised. A lot of these men are not going to bite your head off and come at you all crazy. Now, if you just broke up with them last week, okay. But if it's been months, years, they'll just be happy to hear from you. Some of them thinking they may have a chance with you. But the point is, you just say, hey, I'm not trying to date. I understand we didn't work out. I just need to know what are some of the things you saw in me that I could have improved upon. And you'll start to notice a theme. And then I'll give you a blueprint on what are some of the things you need to work on. All right. All right. Here's the last one, guys. We're almost done. The sixth, and in my opinion, the most important reason, or most important thing you're doing that could be keeping you single, you have not healed from your past. All right. A lot of you listening to this right now have gone through so much hurt and pain and disappointment through men that you've dated. And although you may be over that man, like you're through with him, a lot of you are not over what he put you through or over the trauma of the relationship. You're still bringing a lot of PTS, or in some cases PTSD, into these new relationships. You're bringing past hurt into a new opportunity. And you've got to heal from that. Or let's go one layer deeper. Some of you are not healed from some of the things you experienced as a child. I can't tell you how many women I've coached that don't see a dotted line to what happened in their childhood to the type of men they're dating right now. I had one client who sadly she had abandonment. Mother was in her life, but the father wasn't. And that level of abandonment allowed her to go after unavailable men. And because her father wasn't in her life, and also her mother had a hardened look towards men, guess what she did? She had a hardened look towards men too. So she walked around with a scowl on her face. She walked around with all this, some people call it alpha energy, feminist energy, masculine energy. I just like to say she was just overall hard. Men would tell her, hey, you don't smile. Or she had a hard time allowing people to do things for her. And she used to tell me, when she did the previous step about doing a relationship audit, she said the common thing men kept telling her was, you acted like you didn't care. And she was like, Charles, I care more than anybody. But I had explained to her that hard exterior gives the impression you're good. You got it all together. So if you have not healed from some of the things in your past, again, some of you ladies have gone through abuse, sexual, verbal, emotional, financial. Some of you have had abandonment. You don't know your parents. You do know your parents, but it was a toxic relationship. Some of you are adopted. Some of you may have been violently teased about your appearance, about your complexion, your height, your weight, what have you. Or I've had clients that have had unexpected deaths in their family, or someone close to them died unexpectedly, and it just closed them up from love. So again, ladies, I hope this was some help. I just want you to have an open mind to look at these 6 things and just take an inventory to see if you fall into some of these categories. All right. Again, like, share this video. As many people I can help, the better. All right, guys. Talk to you later, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.